very good morning, Mr. Jordaan. Thanks for joining us. And of course, the football fraternity is still saddened by the news of the passing of Diego Maradona. Your thoughts on the great legend?
Well, it was a great shock. I'm in Cairo in Egypt for the CAF Champions League final today. Maradona presented a human face to football, was always ready to meet young boys and girls. And so his death also brought the death of a part of football. Part of football died, and that is the human face of football. He was the only one of the 32 coaches who, when we met him at the Tux University where they had their base camp, he wanted to come to the office of the organizing committee. He wanted to meet the staff. He went with us to the FNB Stadium. He wanted to meet former players, and he juggled the ball there with them. He was a people's person in the true sense of the word. Maradona, of course, his name is synonymous to one of the greatest players in the world. In 2002, in Korea-Japan World Cup, the Brazilians had a big banner saying, "Pelé is great, Maradona is God." And that is the reverence and the admiration they had for him. And Maradona's biggest wish was to be in the 2010 World Cup in South Africa, Africa's first World Cup. And of course, his team was struggling, even at the threat of missing the World Cup 2010. And when they qualified, he expressed this great joy. And his wish, of course, was to see Argentina in the final. And that's why he wanted to see FNB Stadium and spoke to us about that dream of his to be in the World Cup. Of course, that was destroyed by the Germans in Cape Town. The strange thing is when I spoke to Maradona about his team and his players, and I asked him, who is the most valuable player in your team? And he said, Carlos Tevez. Wow. And then he gave an analysis of what he believed a national team player should be like. Hardworking, patriotism, commitment, dedication, never giving up. And he rattled off the characteristics as to why he believed that Carlos Tevez was the most valuable player in his team. He was a wonderful ambassador for football. Wherever he went, he had long list of admirers. And when he came to South Africa, the strange thing of the Argentinian football team, when they had to choose their base camp, he did not want any of the five-star hotels. He went to the Tux University's high-performance center. And that is, he always lived next to the football ground. And so is Messi, because when the training is finished, he wants to go anytime to the field to continue to develop his own personal skills. And Messi, I think, adopted that approach. And so, unlike all the other teams who wanted five-star hotels, he wanted a football field next to where they stayed. So he is a footballer and a huge loss to football and a big friend of African football. He helped us during the birth. He was always there to lend support, but also criticism of those who cast doubt on Africa's ability. So we've lost a friend, we've lost a supporter, and we lost an admirer of African football. Maradona was great, and that's why you find when you go to Buenos Aires, yes, there is a church dedicated to Maradona. If you go to Boca, where he played for Boca Juniors, and talk about Maradona.
All right, Mr. Jordaan, I'm going to have to interject over there, though. Sorry to cut you short. Thank you so much for just describing the legend, of course. That was Diego Maradona and his contribution to football as well. That was SAFA President Jordaan joining us via Skype. And again, just continuing with the tributes to one of the greatest footballers that the world has ever seen.